I think we just lost Jan's connection. Oh, there she is, right.
Sorry, Kapajan. How to start? Maybe talking about akusala is a good starting point.
Is Jan here now already, Alberto?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Sawadi Kap Ajan. Sawadi Kap Ajan. Thank you.
Sawadika Ajan.
Sawadi Kap Ajan Kap.
Sorry, Kapajan.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning.
There's so many kinds of akusala, and some looks worse than others. Like moments of dosa looks so bad and something like one wants to get rid of it. But we know that the only way to get rid of dosa is by understanding dosa. And understanding dosa means seeing the reality. So it's the way it accumulates. It's the way. Can you say something more about the accumulation of a kusala, like taking it for something and someone all the time, even now. I'm not sure if it's a question, but and the moment when dosa is there, it seems worse than when other kinds of akusala is there, because it's okay. Yeah, I think I'm answering my own question. So it's because that there is unpleasant feeling, which makes it so so ugly. So something so blamable. Yeah, maybe that's the word. It looks like dosa has more it's more it's worse than loba. Is it true, Ajahn? What's the worst?
I think that all questions come from ignorance and not enough understanding. So very firm about the truth. For example, when there is the understanding of no matter what, not only dosa, loba, seeing, hearing, memory, and so on, whatever is there, in truth, it's conditioned Dhamma arising and falling away.
Oh, careful.
And there,
Mhm.
yeah.
Sorry, Ajahn, that was a mistake by me. Please go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right. I think that in order to have answer or solve any problem, it needs only one important reality, right understanding, firm enough. For example, dosa is just a conditioned reality, like other realities. Why we just think about dosa? How can it get less and so on and on? But in truth, nothing cannot be done by anyone at all because it has a reason already. It has a reason already. What can anyone do? And it's gone already. That's why only right understanding is strong enough to begin to understand the truth in any moment in life and begin to understand that there's no one at all, because what is there now thinking about dosa has to be known at moment of thinking. Otherwise, what is the understanding and when will be the understanding of whatever is there? Because we always think about future, what shall I do and what can it be done and so on. But at the very moment, the truth is that right understanding of Dhamma is not enough yet, because it's not moment of understand, the moment of thinking about it. That's why so many realities in life, from life to life, are there unknown. That's why it's so subtle to understand just the word Dhamma, no one at all. Dosa is just a reality. It's gone now, or it's there now, by condition. No one at all. So nothing can be done except the condition from hearing, considering carefully, will condition a little more confident of the truth, to understand that As long as what is there now is not known as it is, it's impossible to try to have something one like and something that one dislikes shouldn't be there at all. Impossible, because the truth is that as the witness of the truth, seeing is now, see, witness of the truth. No one makes it arise at all. It's there already. So no thought about future. But the truth is that the reality which is there, arising and experiencing what is appearing right now, can be known. Otherwise, no way at all to let go all realities, no matter it's pleasant or unpleasant, from arising at all. It keeps on going on, arising and falling away differently by conditions. Which condition is arising? That's all. So without condition, dosa cannot arise. And in truth, ignorance is there, conditioned dosa. When there is dosa and when panya is there, it can understand the nature of dosa as just a reality. And that is the point of hearing again and again about what is there now, what is its nature. It cannot be taken for anyone because it's conditioned already to arise and fall away instantly. As the truth is so firm, known, developed, little by little, there can be condition to the moment of awareness with right understanding of what is there now arise. Very gradually, little by little, but it's there because it's not thinking about other things like dosa, but it's now the moment of developing the understanding, the attention to the moment when it's there, no matter it is seeing or hearing or thinking or dosa or loba. That is the only way to understand the truth. Not just try not to have dosa or try to have such and such pleasant object. Like someone might think that I would like to realize the truth. I would like to realize the truth. When there's no understanding of what is there now enough, it's impossible to realize the truth, because the truth of this moment is that seeing is not self, it's not anyone, it has a reason, and it's now sees. Understand this truth little by little, who knows that it's moment of developing understanding, just like holding the knife's handle. Who knows? Each moment is worn away unknowingly until it appears to be known that is worn away to such degree. So this is the understanding of the truth. So even the moment of one is so sad and grief and whatever, right understanding can understand that very moment as it is. Nothing can hinder the moment of understanding the truth when it's developed gradually, naturally, little by little. So now there will be dosa for sure, as long as there are conditions for dosa to arise. Is that right? Is
That's
that?
right. It's my
Alberto,
dosa.
can we say?
That's
Sorry.
yeah, just a brief comment. It's a problem because it is my dosa. Not it has to be mine as long as it's not a reality. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, John.
And there is dosa towards my dosa, right? When we say it's so ugly and want to get rid of it, it's because it's mine. It's because it's my dosa, not someone else's dosa.
Yeah, because unpleasant feeling is there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think Ajahn just mentioned the inevitability of dosa because it has been, the tendency is there accumulated, so that's not going to change anytime soon, even if the path is being developed. So in that respect, is it possible to have more, put it this way, more equanimity towards one's own dosa rather than the dosa towards one's own dosa, to accept the inevitability of that?
The object of dosa is usually, most of the time, is people and not things.
But that's right. But there's also, as you said, the dosa on top of the dosa towards the dosa to other people. So that the dosa towards other people is there, it arises. But is it possible to appreciate that as something that's inevitable because of the accumulated tendency and the lack of developed understanding?
But without the idea of people, of Alberto and Jonathan and Sarah and Rajan and everyone, it's no object for dosa, is it?
I think it's easy to think that, but if one were to go and live on one's own somewhere, the dosa would still, the tendency towards dosa would still be there and would still manifest. So if you go and live on your own, but you stumble and trip over, then you'll have dosa towards the rock or the tree stump, whatever it is that you trip over, or dosa towards yourself. How stupid am I? So the dosa will find an object regardless of the fact that now when we're among people, the object is mostly other people. But
what about those
removing the other people isn't going to fix anything.
What about those about visible objects?
I missed the last bit. What about dosa? What?
Those are, I think those are about just visible object, or just sound, or just.
Well, if it's not the object that is one wants to be having as object, then there can be dosa towards it. So if you turn on the radio or turn on the TV to watch or listen to something and it's not the program that you wanted, then there'll be dosa.
But would that in that case be those about sound, or that particular sound?
Well, it depends, because as I say, it could be pleasant. It could be a pleasant sound, but not the sound that one was wanting to hear. So you don't have to analyze it any further than that. It's dosa.
Yeah, but the object in that case, would it be a reality or a concept or something imagined?
It could be either. It could be either, but more likely to be a concept in the situation.
Yeah.
Unmet expectations can be a condition for dosa. So we're talking about the conceptual world in that regard.
Yeah, must follow.
Or association with the disliked, separation from the liked, yeah. And you said at one point that it seems that dosa is worse than other kinds of akusala. I understand what you mean by that, in that, you know, it's very unpleasant to see one's or another's dosa. But so it's worse at that kind of level of, but actually the attachment is what is the condition for continued existence in samsara. And so
especially
that is much
attachment with
more.
especially attachment with wrong understanding. Attachment
Yes,
with,
but not only that, attachment to becoming, even the person who no longer has wrong understanding still has attachment to becoming, to further existence. It's not eradicated until final stage of enlightenment. But yes, I thought Ajahn's comments were particularly appropriate, that the tendency's been accumulated, so the dosa is going to arise from time to time. And if we appreciate that, then it doesn't have to be so disturbing when it occurs.
yeah, like feeling the urge to control those, like somehow getting rid of it. Maybe like all the different techniques for controlling anger and all that things, which we know is not taking. Actually, it's probably having the opposite result of adding more dosa to what was, because of, as you were saying, the condition is attachment. So
I think everyone struggles with dosa.
yeah, I'm struggling
Just a
with
question
dosa,
of degree. The difference between different individuals, just a question of degree.
degrees and
the main point that Jan was stressing is what is there now, because otherwise now is there any dosa? Because if dosa is not here and now to be understood, and one's just speculating what dosa is upset about at other times, behind it is the idea of I who wishes not to have dosa. But what about what is now? And as I think was being stressed last time, the study of the teachings is the study of what appears now. It's not the book study or the words or the details, but understanding what appears right now. So is there any dosa now, or what appears now? Otherwise, it's like clinging to the story of dosa instead of just understanding what can be known now.
yeah, studying dosa must be there must be dosa. To study it, it must be there. But when there is the studying of it is not there anymore. But,
the study means the understanding of the characteristic when it appears, and it's gone instantly. It's not my dosa to be concerned about or mind about. It's just a Dhamma, like any other Dhamma, like kindness or attachment or understanding. It's just a Dhamma, and it's gone instantly. But because of the strong clinging to self and the clinging to pleasant feeling, everyone would like to have less dosa. But the way to understand is not to think about what isn't there, but to understand what is here and now to be known, and to understand it's just a Dhamma appearing and then gone. And it doesn't matter if dosa is now and dosa is the object of understanding. It doesn't matter what the dosa is towards. It doesn't matter whether it's towards a concept or reality, to this or to that. It's just dosa of whatever degree, of whatever kind, just a Dhamma and then gone. Otherwise, one's just thinking about, well, what was the dosa towards? And one's lost in the story about what there's dosa towards, but no understanding of what appears now.
I was reading about Acchaya Gamino and Apachaya Gamino, meaning accumulating more and getting rid of it instead of accumulating it, getting rid of it. And there is a simile of the bricklayer, which builds the wall, and by adding new moments of akusala.
And not just, yeah.
Yeah, and the other way around, removing each brick by panya, by understanding it. Actually, this is by the path, so it must be a moment of magga, lokuttara citta, and anyway, even any moment of understanding, even lokia, it's a step towards the removing of the akusala.
And that's why when you brought up last time about the vijnana, anyana, and jnana, charya, the behavior of chittas, the results, the ahetuka results like seeing and hearing now, the akusala, which usually follows, and then jnana, charya, panya, but particularly referring to vipassana, jnana, and lokuttara chittas, because it's really only the direct understanding and moments of insight that really lead to the dismantling of the bricks little by little. Otherwise, other kinds of kusala, even development of samatha bhavana, just lead to the accumulating of more and more bricks in samsara. But without the right intellectual understanding, the understanding of what is meant by study now, there cannot be the direct understanding, and there cannot be the development of vipassana jnana. So it has to begin with the understanding of the truth about reality now. Otherwise, one just speculates about the story of dharmas, but doesn't begin to understand what appears at this very moment. Another comment Ajahn made last time, I was just resting, but I remember her talking about how subtle everything that we read in the Tipitaka is, and how it doesn't mean understanding the words at all. It's just referring to understanding of the realities now, each one conditioned and gone. The words are just the pointers. So the subtlety is the actual understanding now of what appears. Because one may think that when one's studying the details in the book about different kinds of dosa or the objects of dosa, for example, or about the different kinds of charya that one is studying the Dhamma. But if it's not the understanding of seeing now or hearing now, dosa when it appears, lobha when it appears, then it's not the true study of Dhamma. I think Azita's been trying to speak for a while. Is your hand up for Azita to speak? Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, good to see you
Yes,
back,
we
Azita.
can.
Half back, anyway. I'll write to you later, Sarah. I have a question. I've been reading the Mula Pariyaya Sutta. And I'm a bit
Please
interested,
unmute.
everybody.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Can hear
Yes,
you
good
now.
to see you back,
Yes, we
Azita.
can.
It's clear, Azita. Carry on.
Okay.
All clear.
And in it gives a little introduction, you know, thus have I heard, but then it goes on to the worldling. Herein bhikkhus, an uninstructed worldling who is without regard for the Aryans, and it goes on a little bit. And then it says, he perceives earth as earth. Having perceived earth as earth, he conceives himself as earth. Now that, how does that uninstructed worldling, me, perceive earth? How is it perceived as earth? It's not perceived as the reality as earth, but how is it perceived as earth?
It's like now, at the moment of touching or experiencing, it's just hardness. Hathawi dhatu, that is touched, it's just hardness, no matter whether one's ever heard the Buddha's teachings or not. It's only hardness that is experienced. But with ignorance and attachment, instantly there's the idea of a computer, a telephone, my finger, my experience of hardness. It's taken for something or someone straight away, but it's actually only hardness that is touched. So even for the ignorant worldling, us, it's only ever hardness touched, but it's not understood as it is. So it's taken for something.
Okay, yes, that makes sense. And then it goes on, he perceives water as water. But in fact, water cannot be experienced, it can only be experienced through mind door. So how does he perceive it? And then it goes on, he having perceived water as water, he conceives himself as water, he conceives himself in water, himself apart from water, and he conceives what is mine, he delights in water. And so I haven't actually read the commentary to the book yet, and I'm sure it'll help me a bit more, but I have found, how is water perceived?
Well, as you said, actually not through the sense door.
Right, it's only through the mind door.
Only through the mind door.
Okay.
So actually, it's just experienced, just the idea is experienced through the mind door, or the element itself. If it does appear, it's only through the mind door. But because it seems that it's water that is touched and it's soft, there's the idea of, I can see the sea, I can touch the cold water, it is my glass of water that I'm drinking, all these different ideas, because of not understanding the reality that is actually touched at this moment, the softness or the coolness as it is. It's all taken for my experience of water, something there. And it goes on for all the other realities. I think the point is that the truth is exactly the same, whether there's any understanding or not. So whether one's talking about the worldling or later the Aryan disciple or the Arahat, what is touched is just the same. What is seen is just the same. What is heard is just the same. But for the ignorant, instantly after the experiencing, then the ideas of something there, someone there. And for the Aryan disciple, no more wrong understanding, but still the attachment and so on that we've discussed. And for the Arahat, same experience, no wrong understanding, no ignorance or attachment at all. But the starting point, seeing is seeing, hearing is hearing, just the same.
Right, right. Yes, that makes good sense. And then it goes on quite a bit. And then he after perceiving, he then conceives himself. And so that's then a step more into the ocean of concepts, I guess. You know, you perceive the earth as a hardness, as something, and then it could become, well, it's my hardness, it's my desk. So it goes on, and the concepts build and build.
And not just mine, but the others as well.
Others as
and
well.
then the gods and the
Yes, it
other
does
beings
go, yeah.
too, and,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
on. Yes, when there's the idea of I, there's the other idea of all other kinds of beings, all kinds of things as well.
Right, yeah. Yes, it's taking me a while to get through this little booklet. But you've helped very much, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll keep reading and I'll read again and again. Thank you.
I thought the comment Ajahn made earlier, it's also appropriate for anyone who's having any health or medical issues or anything, like when she said, one's bound to have grief, one's bound to have sadness, dosa, they're bound to be problems. But it can be understood as it is when it's there, because by conditions, it has to be like that. But at the moments of understanding, no sadness, no grief, joy for that moment. So life goes on as it is, no matter it's a worldling or trainee or an arahat. Different dharmas conditioned by karma and other ways, but can be understanding anytime. That's the great gift of the Dharma, anytime at all.
Yes, yeah, the wondrous Dharma. I mean, through these last couple of weeks, it hasn't been easy. But it's great having the Dharma, knowing, okay, this is the reality. This is what is. So there's no changing it. It is how it is. So it's a wondrous thing to be learning. And I can understand why Ajahn often says Hanya is the greatest of all, or most precious of all gifts. Yeah.
It's always this moment.
Always,
Moment
yes.
No matter the circumstances. And one thinks, oh, when I'm off my sick bed, or when I have my voice back, or when this, when that. But what about this moment? What about this moment of thinking about nonsense most of the time? Yes.
Yes, and I have to
Seeing
remind
is
myself.
still seeing, hearing is still hearing.
Exactly. I have to remind myself that, you know, when my brain, I'm flying off into the future, missing the moment, missing opportunities to know the moment. Can't do anything about it, but sometimes that thought comes to me, you know, whatever is this unpleasant, painful, whatever. If you're trying to avoid it, you're missing the precious moment to know.
And that is the training, the understanding is the training to understand whatever appears.
Yes.
Never the way one wishes or likes. That's the truth.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Glad you're able to join anyway, Zita. Were you about to say something, Anne?
Yes, I was. I've listened a couple of times to the recording of last week's discussion about Vijnana, Charya, and the others. And Ajahn spoke often about considering carefully how necessary that was. As in terms of, let's see, considering not just the words, but the meaning of them, for sure, the meaning of them. And I got thinking about considering and what it actually was, because the considering is needed to get closer and closer to the object, and leads to wise attention, as I understand. So considering thinking is, I think, the Cetasika, and the Citta, I mean, the Citta arises, and by the time there's any considering, the object hasn't fallen away, but the nimitta of the object is still there. I may have this incorrectly. Anyway, I was thinking that the considering would be, the citta is what considers, but the cetasika is necessary to do that. Would be vitaka, phassa, and the others that are all seven that arise all the time. What about panya and wise attention? It wouldn't initially be. It would only be panya at the level of pariyati, not patipati, until till moments of satipatthana. So I guess I was wondering. I'd like to hear more about careful considering.
Well, I'll say something first, and then I'm sure Jan can add more. So, like now, sorry, Jonathan's microphones. So, considering what appears now rather than just the details in the book is the careful considering of the reality. And I think that last time in the discussion about the Buddha's last words, apamada, don't be heedless. And she was saying, what is the careful considering now? Sati is very important. It's sati that guards. So sati has to arise with understanding at the moments of careful considering, being aware of what is true and guarding against akusala at those moments. I remember reading that apamada is actually the development of sati with understanding. So just considering what is life now. If there's no doubt dosa now, why think and be concerned about dosa that hasn't come? What is true now? Just hardness, earth element. But we find it so important. We think of the computer, the phone, we think of the people around, but it's just earth element that we mind so much about, just an element, and it's gone. And as you say, the moment of understanding of hardness, for example, the hardness is gone, but there's a considering about the characteristic of the nature of hardness. It is the nimitta of hardness that is understood. It doesn't matter that the hardness, the reality, has come and gone countless times. The characteristic can be understood right now when it appears. Otherwise, we get into a tangle. Well, actually, the hardness was only experienced in the sense door, and what about the considering, which is in the mind door now? But that's just a long story about it. It's not the actual study, the careful considering about the hardness when it appears now. So at each moment of careful considering, the citta is the chief in thinking, considering with understanding. And like you say, there have to be so many sobhana cetasikas arising with the citta performing their functions. Vitaka must be there, touching the object. Sanya is marking and remembering. Alobha, dosa are there. Equanimity is there at that moment. Sati is there, being aware of what appears, guarding from unwholesomeness. So many factors come together at that moment, but what is important is just what appears, no matter whether one calls it considering or wise attention. Yoniso Manasikara has to be there at those moments.
It has to be there, okay.
And the point is that all
Panya has to be
dhammas,
there too.
Panya has to be there for that considering to take place.
Right.
And as you say, it's the intellectual understanding now, moments of wise considering. When it's direct understanding, then we just talk about the understanding of what appears, but without that careful considering again and again,
it won't happen.
It won't happen. The Cinta Maya Panya has to be there, not just the hearing about the truth, but the considering again and again in order for the Bhavana Maya Panya to follow.
Right, it has to be firm. Okay, thank you.
Perhaps Sajjan would like to add more to any of your comments or
Thank you.
There cannot be clear understanding at all if we just take only the word, but the truth of each reality is there to be considered. See, that's why there must be a reality which consider. Each reality has its own characteristic and its own function, sometimes so very familiar, like chanda, see, and interest and attention. That's why if we just consider a reality of one cetasika at a time, to understand the truth that actually there is no one at all. The point is, no matter we listen to any word of the teaching, it just brings about the understanding of no one at all. What is there is a reality. That's why if they are together, all together, arising and falling away, it's so very difficult to understand each different one until its moment of consider closer and closer to the truth of each reality which arise together. But they are so very subtle. For example, vitaka or phassa. See? There must be phassa all the time. Whenever citta arises, it's because phassa, contact. But what about vitaka? It's not as phassa. It's not that all the time. So Buddha thought about the condition for each reality arising together by paccaya. See, they arise together, they condition each other. So when we heard the word consider, is citta consider? Not at all. Right? Citta arises to be the chief of experiencing the object. Only that, no matter the object is what at all. And phassa is there all the time. See, vedana, sanya, cetana, ekakata, chivitindriya, and manasikara. Attention to the characteristic which citta is the chief of experiencing. So it's there for manasikara. to attend to it, depending on what citta it arises with. For example, manasikara arises with seeing. It attends to the object only, just that. And when kusala arises, it attends to the object. That's why the citta experiences it clearly, and the other cetasika just arise and perform its function at moment of experiencing the same object, but it likes or attached or ignorance is there, not understanding the truth. That's why manasikara is there all the time. It attends to the object no matter citta experiences what, kusala or akusala. If it does not attend to the object, can there be dosa and so on?
No, it can't.
That's why it depends on whether it arises with vipaka or kiriya or kusala or akusala citta. Different degrees until it attends carefully to the object for right understanding to arise to understand it. Manasikara, and we use the term yoniso manasikara, it does not arise with seeing and hearing so on. It
Right.
arises with kusala only or sopanachita only. But it's there all the time, perform its function of attending to the object at that moment, to condition the other cetasika to like or dislike, attached or disattached. So it's there now, attending to the object which is seen, attending to the sound which is heard, depending on what cetasikas arising with it to be kusala or akusala.
But when it's an idea or a concept, it's attending to that. Is that right?
It arises all the time with its citta, and its function is just attend to the object, no matter object is concept or what.
Mhm. Thank you. This is becoming clearer.
That's why just learn to understand until it's not I or anyone at all, no matter what. Lopa, dosa, moha, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting. There are different dhammas conditioned to arise and fall away all the time, non-stop, endlessly, until right understanding is there. At level of eradicate the wrong understanding and ignorance and attachment which arise together, never to arise again. Imagine now, it cannot arise at all. After it has been eradicated, never in samsara again. Wrong understanding.
That's hard to imagine, actually.
But the truth is that as long as there is ignorance, it cannot understand what is there. So
Mhm.
condition is there on and on because of ignorance.
Yes.
That's why any life is the life to accumulate kusala, to understand the truth. That's why there are three Tipitaka Vinaya to eliminate the wrong deeds and speech and so on. Sutta, any moment of what is there. Panya is not strong enough to understand it's not anyone. So there are many words of Buddha about the danger of akusala by way of sutta and abhidhamma. If no matter one is so good, but when there is still ignorance and attachment, life goes on. And is it good enough when there's no understanding of the truth? That's why I understand the difference between ignorance and right understanding. Quite different.
Very different, yes.
And at moment of getting angry, see, Panya can arise any moment. No one can stop its arising when they are conditioned. There can be moment of understanding the nature of dosa, see, by conditions, just a reality. Begin to understand what is there, not at will, but by conditions, unexpectedly, it's there already. Being aware of being moment of thinking carefully about the danger of it. Let have it less and less until there can be moment of understanding the truth of it. That's why all wholesome quality is parami. All of them are paramis for perfection to the moment of enlightenment. No one, see, the more understanding of the reality right now, little by little, it gets less and less attachment with wrong understanding that it's I. That's why there have to be 3 rounds of Ariya Satya. And right understanding understands what round is there now. Without that first round, there can never be the understanding of the truth directly at all. And this is the quality and the function and the development of all Intl.Dhamma. No one there at all. So life goes on as usual. See, if it's unusual, it's not understanding
No,
at all.
it's unusual, it's making an effort. Wishful
It's
thinking,
wrong.
making an effort.
Yeah. And what is that? The idea of that is there strongly.
Yeah, I am making
That's
my
right.
effort. Yeah.
The more understanding of the truth, the more subtle, the more understanding of the truth that it's beyond expectation for anything to arise at all. That's why life has to go on as usual, just right now. But hear more, consider more, understanding a little more of the truth. That's the way of the noble truth, the fourth noble truth, the path leading to realize the truth that we have talked about right now. It becomes
Thank you.
stage by stage.
Yeah, yeah, closer and closer.
Opanadiko, the Pali term, Opanadiko, get closer and closer to what is there right now at I, the seeing, and that which appears, and so on.
Yes. And it's imperceptible. It's not quick. There's you can't hasten it. It all happens by conditions and oftenly not perceived. It just happens.
Already right now. It's there to be known.
Yeah.
At moment of speaking, see, any moment.
Right. Right.
Because
You
it's
don't have to.
true.
Mhm.
That's why it just depends on understanding.
Right. You don't have to go looking for anything. And that would be wrong if you did.
Wrong path, wrong understanding. Yoniso manasikara.
And opanayiko, to be understood each for themselves, means actually no self, just by panya, understanding what appears now. No one else can do it. No one can do it. Yes. The Buddha can't enlighten anyone. No one can do anything. It's just
that's right.
for understanding itself, to understand what is here and now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you very much.
And it's a good point, attention at each moment, but mostly it's unwise attention, even when one's reading the sutta or thinking about other topics which are not about what appears now or thinking about the word and the meaning. Mostly it's ayoniso manasikara.
Mhm.
If it's
Yeah.
not the wise attention to what life is here and now.
99+%.
Just the occasional
so
moments with a
manasikara.
little understanding when there's a little
Right.
wise considering with wise attention, panya, sati, and so on.
Yes.
And it doesn't
So
matter because they're all dharmas. It's not my
Right.
unwise attention. It's all gone. It's always
wise
now.
attention,
Begin
yeah.
again.
Right. Sort of the raw materials are around all the time.
No need for excuses like too sick, too busy, in the wrong place,
Right.
Zoom's not working. It's always here and now, no matter
Always here.
what or where or when.
Mhm. That's very true, very, very true. But the opportunity to be able to listen to and discuss the Dhamma is again precious and necessary.
To condition the wise attending, the wise considering the importance of what's most useful, because so much ignorance and attachment have been accumulated.
Mhm.
I wanted to, I'm not sure if it's a question, but it's about being truthful to the truth. And I was elaborating a little bit on this, on these words which are we are getting used to so much, and it's and understanding the meaning of it and the subtlety of being truthful to the truth, and nobody is truthful, and but what is truthful is what can be truthful is the understanding, and the truth can be the truth must be the object of understanding. And I was thinking, but this must be like direct understanding. Can it be intellectual understanding, being truthful to the truth without direct understanding, being truthful when listening and when considering about the truth at the intellectual level? Like now, talking about the truth, and but maybe not being so truthful about it. Well, I'm not so sure I'm truthful when I'm talking about the truth. I'm not even sure I'm talking about the truth. So it's a big entanglement, another big entanglement. I think we have here. Am I truthful to the truth?
If you are talking about what it is the Buddha taught, rather than expressing your own views, then you are being truthful to the truth. If you are letting your own views color what you're saying, and which claims to be the Buddha's teaching, then you're not being truthful to the truth.
So you think that there can be a pariyatti level that can be like speaking the words of the Buddha as the Buddha taught us. Is it enough to be truthful?
Well, I think it just means having the confidence and the honesty to think in terms of how the Buddha explained things to be, rather than making our own guesses about it. So it can apply at any level that you would care to think of. Of course, because our understanding is not very well developed, then it's only going to be occasional that one is actually truthful to the truth. More often than not, maybe there's not being truthful to the truth, but I think it's, as Ajahn uses the term, I understand it to mean being guided by the teaching and being honest with oneself as to one's own level of understanding in relation to the teaching also.
Yeah, it requires some levels of understanding, that's for sure. Because even
and it's never you or anyone else that is truthful to the truth. So if you say, am I being truthful to the truth? Well, no, because no I that can be truthful. So it's
right.
understanding which understands what the truth is now. At that moment, it is truthful to the truth. If one's thinking about another topic or another word, or what about what dosa is averse to, but what about the truth now? What is appearing now? What about the attachment now, or the clinging, or the idea of I now? So being truthful means understanding is honest to what appears right now. Satya parami. But perhaps Ajahn would like to add more.
What are the wholesome cetasikas? How many are there?
19, I think. 19.
Okay, what are they, please?
Hearing or
Pardon?
I think the first one is usually is hearing.
One by one, please. 19.
Ottappa
2,
and alobha, dosa,
4,
amoha,
5,
and the all the Subhana Ciktarika.
What about the pairs? How many pairs of wholesome arranging together?
Oh,
What
yes.
are
12 altogether, 12. 6 for chitta and 6 for kaya. Okay.
What about the uchu kata?
Yeah. Ujukata, yeah.
Satya, straight to the truth.
All right.
That's
That's
why
that's the
we don't have to remember or recite, but it's there. Unknown that what are the six pairs and so on, but they are there already to be truthful to the truth. Panya, understand the truth, right? And the other Cetasikas is truthful, one pair of the six. So no need to think about each one because they arise together. If one characteristic does not appear as the object, it cannot be known. That's why we learn about the Four Noble Truths, the first round. And this is the first round. Understand what is true to the truth. Cetasika arising with all wholesome citta, right?
yes, Ajahn.
All six pairs are there. With Hiri, Ottappa, Sattha, and so on. Sati, Tatra, Machatata. Six pairs, how many of them? 12. And the others included.
Yeah, one moment of kusala is
Uchukata, what is that?
yeah,
Kaya.
as you, the one you were explaining, straightness, not being, not bending towards kusala.
So what is the truth? Be truthful. See, wholesome citta with wholesome cetasikas. Otherwise, it's not truthful to the truth. Even at moment of right understanding is there, it also needs the six pairs too.
And even when understanding is not there, still must be at least 19 Sobhana Chaitasikas, including the Utujaka of Chitta and Kaya of Chaitasikas. So it has to be there at every moment of Kusala.
And the moment with panya is the one that understand all the other moments. And when they are there and when they are not there. So
Which understands the truth.
So when it's not kusala with right understanding, it's still uchukata to the wholesomeness.
yeah, yes,
No one there at all. See, all adamas who realize that the enlightenment of the Buddha and depend on the Savaka how much panya is there, developed, accumulated at moment of enlightenment, or after too, even after enlightenment. Savakas are different by accumulation. And who knows who? And this is Uchukata too. Be truthful to the truth. So what is now? When it's akusala, no quality of wholesome citasikas at all.
Ajahn, Uchukata accumulates like the other Chitasika. So it can be like asaya for even for a moment of when it's not there, but which means when it's akusala.
Be true to the truth. See, it has to be kusala, depending on the citta at that moment, with right understanding, or even without right understanding, but be truthful to wholesomeness. That it's different from unwholesome. It's not as dangerous as unwholesome moment. So each moment of wholesome citta, kusala, vipaka, they are there by conditions to be different, by chati, but 19 citatikas have to arise together at moment of wholesome moment. At least.
And when it's the kusala vipaka, for example, the Bhavanga citas during this life, Ujjutaka has to be there with those citas, but it's not accumulating, it's just result. So only when the kusala citas arise, the Ujjutaka, like the other wholesome factors, accumulate as asya, as you said. So it's there, the habit, the tendency is there, even when akusala arises, ready to condition kusala, like all the other sobhana cetasikas.
Yeah,
Never
I was
lost.
thinking when Ajahn was saying that different accumulations and the different the savaka have different, or each have different accumulations, but we are talking about the Aryans, not the Putujana.
But even for the Putujanas like now, all the different tendencies have been accumulated, the lobha, the dosa, the ujjutaka, the hiri, the ottappa, all these tendencies have been accumulated. But it depends on conditions at any moment, what arises, like what arises now, what arose a moment ago, what arises in different streams of citas now. For one, there may be boredom, another attachment, one understanding. So the tendencies are there, but it depends on conditions, what different accumulations arise, condition the arising of different habits, different tendencies now, different kinds of citas with wise attention, unwise attention, all by conditions, by different pakatu, panisya, pachya, and other conditions.
I have a quick question, Sarah. What is this word ujjutika or something?
Ujjutaka. There are 6 pairs of wholesome Chaitasikas. Each one refers to the chitta, and the other part of the pair refers to Chaitasika. For example, one pair that you're familiar with is passaddhi, calmness, at every moment of wholesomeness, calm. The chitta is calm, so there is the pair of passaddhi, chitta passaddhi, calmness of chitta, and kaya passaddhi,
Right.
calmness
Yep.
of Chaitasikas. Here, kaya refers to the group of Chaitasikas. So that is one pair. So there are 6 pairs. Some of the pairs we're not so familiar with, but Jan was stressing that one of the pairs is Ujjutaka, which refers to it's usually translated as straightness of the citta, straightness of the body of Chaitasikas. So being straight, not crooked at all. When akusala arises, it's like the citta and Chaitasikas are crooked, not straight, not truthful. So it's referring to the straightness of citta and Chaitasikas at any moment of wholesomeness. So at any moment of wholesomeness, at moments of kindness or generosity, these 6 pairs are there, conditioning each the other Chaitasikas, and the citta, calmness, the straightness, and so on. One is the lack of rigidity. So when the citta and Chaitasikas are kusala, very rigid, not pliant, but when they're wholesome, it's like they are pliant, uddhutta. So this is just one of the pairs. So it's interesting that Ajahn started talking about Ujjutaka in this context of being truthful to the truth.
Right. Okay.
And even without moments of understanding, it is truthful to being wholesome.
Right.
But usually we're referring to it with understanding.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Another pair is lightness, lahuta, lightness of the citta, lightness of the Chaitasikas. When dosa arises, it's heavy. It's like there's no lightness at all. But when the citta is kusala, it's light because of this pair of lightness of the citta and the Chaitasikas.
Yes, I remember reading, the list in the Intl.Dhamma of lightness but I've always kind of skipped over it because it seems like far away, or I don't know. I didn't relate to it. But now I can see, I will go back and review. So thank you. And I think Jonathan's written up how you actually spell it. So, okay, thank you.
So even when one's sick or in pain, at the moment of understanding, at those moments, the citta and Chaitasikas are light, truthful to being wholesome, calm at those moments, and so on. So it's actually daily life, it's now, and at the moments of dosa now or attachment, no lightness, no pliancy, no being straight to the truth at all.
Okay, so that leads me to another question. Like when there is that, instead of fighting discomfort and what have you, realizing it is just now, it is what is now, and there is some kind of relief, or some kind of, softening. So maybe I'm trying to control the Chaitasikas, but it's almost like it can possibly be felt somehow that there is I don't know, Yeah, it's just, I know sometimes the feeling is when I realize there's nothing that can be done, just accept what is. There is some sort of lightness for a moment. Yeah, thank you.
As we know, whenever any akusala arises, there is disturbance, there's restlessness, no tatrama jatata, no equanimity, which Ajahn mentioned in passing.
Yeah.
So it's heavy, it's not light, it's not pliant, it's not upright at those moments.
And
you go
you
ahead.
can see, sorry, just one moment, Sura. You can actually see in a day just how much a kusala there is to a degree because of disturbance. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
And it conditions the speech, the behavior.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Thank you so much. It has been wonderful.
Tana Janka, you were just speaking to Alberto then about the Sobhana Chaitasikas, and as we have learned or learning that there are those 12 pairs, that leaves 7 others. I'm curious why, for example, Saddha, which is usually considered the first one, isn't Kaya as well as Chitta. Why is it those other 6 at the end are in pairs, whereas the first 7 are not in pairs? Because surely when we're referring, do you see my question, Tanajan?
Well, no one's making the pairs. That is, according to the Buddha, how things actually are.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
got
not
that.
classifying them by pairs and some singly.
I'm not sure if I got your point there, Jonathan. I know that's just the way it is, and that's what I thought. Perhaps that's just the way it is. But why wouldn't Saddha refer to both as opposed to Pasadhi, for example?
Are you sure Saddha doesn't? What do you mean Saddha doesn't refer to both?
Well, when we have,
because it's not faith, confidence of the citta or of the Cetasika. It's confidence in the Dhamma.
Yes, I can appreciate that. That's the same with sati. Also, we can say that at that particular moment, but I was just wondering why that is not in a pair also, like the other ones, like the
How would it work if it was in a pair? How would it work? Saddha, for example.
Well, that's right. I'm trying to understand that myself at the moment. How would it work in a pair? I'm not quite sure, Jonathan. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, perhaps we can come back to that one later. You can give it some thought in the meantime, as time is up for this session.
Yeah, that's true. We've finished. I understand that. Thank you.
Right. Okay.